funny because not too long ago, Renegade and Bound, they were your undefeated LVT Money Tuesday champions. A lot of y'all don't know.
Let's talk about Bound because there's always been Renegade and Bound. Now it's Renegade versus Bound.
Bound. He says we know how this goes, but do you?
I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I think you're shit, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I love playing against Bound just because he's one of the few players I know believes he's better than me.
No, let's finish. These guys are fucking ass.
And I feel like it's vice versa where I believe I'm better than him. I don't know. For me, I love that.
I'll whoop that kid's ass for sure.
I love playing someone who just thinks they could just beat me easily. Fills me up.
Still in the death screen, and Renegade says this is why I chose to leave.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Tied the Leader. Here we have two-time world champion Renegade joining us. Renegade, welcome to the show.
Yo, what's up, guys? Appreciate you guys having me on, and let's get this show on the road.
With every guest, we like to start off with the origin story and talk about how you got into gaming and how you got your gamer tag.
I think my dad might have bought an Xbox, an OG Xbox, not a 360, an OG one, and 2004 or 5, and I would play Halo 2 and I was that young. I'll just play campaign.
And how old were you in 05?
5.
Oh my god, wow. Okay.
That's epic, dude. Wait, so you're born in 2000, so when I was going to my first MLG event, you were literally 5 years old. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I was a youngin. But I started playing Halo 2 campaign. That's kind of how I got into it. And then competitive wise, I didn't start getting in it until probably Reach.
Even when you were playing Halo 2 in those early days, were you getting into the MLG playlist? Were you hopping into competitive customs, or were you keeping it pretty casual? Probably like most 5-year-olds at the time, playing social or maybe multi-team. What was your variety of Halo at that time in your life?
I played 0 competitive, so I didn't play any competitive. I would play this game mode. I don't even know if it was a real game. I think I might have made it up, but my brothers and my dad would play Tower of Power, and then the OG Ascension map.
Yes. Dude.
Oh
yes,
wow.
we would sit there and I don't know, whoever just held it more would win, obviously. So that was my only competitiveness, I would say, in Halo. But I didn't start taking Halo serious until a little bit later.
Dude, Tower of Power is such a throwback. I mean, we were legit playing that back then too. A lot of people don't know this, but Zombies, the way it is now, actually started from custom games in Halo 2 where people just made it up. They were like, all right, if you're on the green team, you can use your sword and you're a zombie. And then if you're on red team, you've got to switch teams to green team. And it was just a honor code, basically.
A lot of trust.
Just made it up. And then, when Halo 3 came out, they decided to make it a real game mode. So Tower of Power was one of those other custom modes, and then people did Cops and Robbers back then too.
Cops and Robbers. I played that more in Halo 3 than Halo 2.
Okay, yeah. So those fun custom games. So you said it was your parents or your dad that got you into it?
Yeah, my dad just liked Halo, I guess, growing up, and me and my brothers would always split screen and play together. So that was that's kind of how we started.
That's so sick, dude.
How'd you come up with the Renegade nickname? Was that something your brother or your family gave to you, or was that something you came up with yourself and thought sounded cool? What's the origin behind Renegade?
So it's pretty funny. So I was playing GB 1v1 tourneys a lot, right? On my old gamer tag. My old gamer tag used to be called Godly, GODLIY. That was my old gamer tag. And I kept getting second. Every single tourney I'd play, I would lose. I kept getting second. I remember one of my friends was just you can't have God in your name. That's where you're getting second. So that's I was okay, I have to switch it. And then I guess I was just kind of thinking of gamer tags. And then during that time, I think that Imagine Dragons song or no, Ambassadors, my bad. The Ambassador song, Renegades.
Yeah.
It was playing, and I was okay, I kind of like this. I kind of like what it means in that song. So I kind of was looking into it, and I was oh, you know what? I might just make it let it rock. So I just got it, and I started winning these 1v1 tourneys all of a sudden, and I was you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with it.
One of the nicknames that people have been giving you in recent times, and I guess even going back to Halo 5, is Demon. Is this a reference to Master Chief? Because you know that he's called Demon by like the Covenant in campaign and things like that, or is it more of like how you see yourself when you're competing in a match?
Yeah, the demon thing. I forget where it stemmed from. I think I was playing 2v2s with like somebody, and someone was like Angel was like their thing, and I put mine as Demon, and I think that's how it started. And then like I don't know, I kind of just went with it from there because people were like, oh, he's playing like a demon. I was like, you know what? I'll just rock with it. So I think that's how it started.
This is as far back, if you look at the screen share here, as your Halo Esports fandom page goes back to your first tournament, and it shows that you got a win on your first recording, but I imagine you played in more tournaments before this. But it shows your first recorded tournament. This must have been an online qualifier. First place, teaming with Musa, Trippy, and Brainstorm, who has become known in recent times for another reason. But do you remember like this time period? Was this like the first time that you started really competing in the Halo 5?
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like I was competing in like some open tourneys, but like I was just kind of playing with my friends, like taking it serious. I was more of like a 1v1, 2v2, like GB kid. I feel like that's kind of like where I started being more competitive with Halo. And I would always play with like Trippy or against Trippy all the time. I just remember sending him like one message. I was like, yeah, I know we hate each other or something, but like if we just play together, I swear we'd win. So that's how like this team like kind of formed in a sense. And then Musa is like one of my boys who's also was really good at Halo 5. And then Brainstorm was also kind of like a GB kid at that time. So we kind of like formed off of that. And yeah, we somehow won, which is crazy. I did not expect to win.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at players you played against, you guys beat Ares, Cloud, Hysteria, and Tire Iron. I mean, these three were competing with us in Halo 2 and Halo 3 days, so they've been playing forever.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of old school names in here. So you guys just come out of nowhere and win the whole thing as a bunch of GB kids. I'm sure that made everybody turn some heads a little bit. Let's see. When was your first like actual LAN tournament? Was it
my first actual LAN? Might have been Orange County. I think that was my first LAN. So the ESA Orange County. Yeah.
Okay. And you're teaming with Contra, who I actually knew when he was a little kid, back when his tag was Little Talent.
Yep.
He used to follow me and Talent around at tournaments. He was like 12 years old or something. And then Ace, bro, we used to play with him too. Like, how do you link up with these guys? Because you're not even teaming with them for any of the online stuff, but then they maybe saw your talent online and then pick you up. Like, how does this happen?
So I think this was a weird time where a lot of people weren't like getting like stuff paid for, and you were kind of have to like, I don't know, you just kind of had to be like located there. So Orange County, I'm from California, so I feel like that really like helped my case. And then I think it was originally me and Falcator were gonna go, and we were just looking for two. And then I think we teamed up with Ace and Contra, and that was gonna be the team. So it kind of like formed that way. And then I think Falcator like last minute ditched us, or not ditched us, but like said he didn't want to go anymore, and he didn't want to go to the event. So we picked up Baby J, and we actually did pretty good. Like top 6 with that team was actually really good.
Incredible, especially for your first on LAN tournament. I'm sure there's people who thought after that first place finish online, it might have been a little bit of a online warrior, a little bit, but
Yeah.
you proved with that 5th, 6th that wasn't the case. Were you playing Halo competitively before this, or was this first tournament where you got first place the very, very start of your competitive lifespan?
I started like playing Halo competitively like back in Reach, like playing MLGs and like just a playlist and kind of 1v1s. But I started taking Halo a lot more serious in Halo 4, which is like everyone's like, dude, I hate that game. I hate that game. And I'm like, dude, I love that game. I guess it's just because where it started for me with like competitive Halo, like I feel like I really got into during that time. I think I was like 13, and I was gonna team. I think I was like teaming with the Suds almost. I think when I was like 13, like a long time ago, like in Halo 4. But obviously, like, you know, no one liked Halo 4. The game was like kind of like dead. So I kind of like after that took like a hiatus, and then like I started coming back to Halo like in Halo 5. So I played a little bit, but this is like my first like real like actual tourney.
Man, shout out to the Sudda twins. Like they get memed a lot, but like they were low key good talent scouts, right? Like they team with you. They were also Frosty's first teammate, I think. Like I think Frosty's first LAN was with the Suds on his team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was too.
And like I don't know, it's kind of crazy that they're able to do that. But where are they now? Where are the Suds now? We don't know. But
Need to find those guys.
yeah, but yeah, I guess fast forwarding a little bit, you teamed with all kinds of different players. Teamed with Monster actually. This kind of surprised me to see this group. Prototype or P Tizype was usually his tag. Monster, who everybody knows now. Rami, obviously, still doing it. So some very interesting lineups. But then I feel like this was your first team that you stuck with for a long time and had solid success with. I mean, you didn't have any wins during this era with this team, but you guys stuck together and were top 8 every tournament except this one. I mean, when I saw this top 64, I was like, they had to DQ or something, right? Like,
yeah, I think we did. I don't think we actually does it say who you lost to?
I mean, it would have to be. You'd have to like dig through the bracket, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we actually played that, but because it was commonly Spartans, Spectre, and Trippy also got.
Wow.
I wonder
top
if
64. Weird.
Yeah, I wonder if something happened.
There's a lot of good players in that top 64 bracket right there. That's unbelievable.
D&D.
National champ Demon D.
Triton.
Hines, all-time top 25 player. That's kind of wild.
Well, he's on John's
Trippy.
team for this one, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, weird. But besides that one, like I guess outlier, you guys were pretty solid, top 8 for the most part. This looks like it was single elimination because these matches are placing 5 through 8 suggests that you tied with 4 other teams. So it must have been single elim, like online tournaments, and then you guys end up going to the World Championship and finish 4th, which is actually probably your best placing outside of this one, right? So you guys got a lot of good practice online and then get to LAN and then perform even higher than maybe you expected. Can you walk us through, was this your first World Championship that you played in?
Yeah, that was my first. I think the first event we played in as a team though is UGC St. Louis.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
So yeah, that was like the first LAN event we played with, and then we did pretty solid. But we were kind of roughly around that like 4th to 6th type caliber. So obviously getting the 4th place at Worlds like meant a lot, but I was not happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, first starting off, I see so many legends that you started off teaming with. You know, Ace, I think top 25 player all time. Also APG, now a world champ, former world champ. Who was your inspiration that got you into Halo? Was there someone from the classic eras when you were just a little kid, 5 years old, watching Walshy montages or something? What was it, or who was it that got you into competitive Halo?
I would say some of the players I like looked up to are definitely like Ola, Roy, and probably like Snipe Down. I feel like those like three are like definitely big like inspirations. Like I'd watch them play and I was like, wow, like these guys are actually insane. And it just like made me just like get on and like try to play like that or like emulate that. Obviously I couldn't, but definitely like those 3.
You teamed with a top 25 all-time Halo player, but this one caused a lot of controversy. Shotzzy, because of the fact that his career was so short. I remember there was a really hot debate about whether or not he should have been on that top 25 list. Do you think that was the right choice? And do you still think he'd be winning tournaments today if he was still playing Halo?
I think he should be in the top 25 list, but I also think I should have been, and maybe Eco and Stellar. But, you know, it didn't really matter to me that much. But if he was still competing today, he would definitely be like on one of these top 3 teams, in my opinion. Like, you know, whoever the big 3 is, like, you know, us, SSG, Optic, like, he probably would end up being on one of these teams.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I even had in my notes parentheses. It feels like a long, long time ago, but someone like yourself wasn't on the list or initially, but it feels like you could have made a case then to be on it, but now especially, I think you definitely find yourself on that top 25 list. Let's talk about this Splyce roster because this historically was a team that, well, stopped history. The three-peat for Talks. Optic Gaming, I think, was their org before that.
Mhm.
And these are now your teammates that you went up against and stopped the three-peat. What was that experience like, and how sweet was that win, considering the fact that you guys were such underdogs at the time?
Yeah, this my first tourney winner here, the DreamHack Atlanta. This is a crazy tournament. Like for me, this is probably so. I mean, obviously, like I would argue a lot of people say their first tournament's like one like you always remember, but this is just such a insane time because we were not expected to win this like at all. Like it was either going to be like it was kind of the big three back then too, with the Optic or whatever they were called, and then Envy and Liquid. I think it was still somewhat of the same. So us like kind of like putting ourselves in that and then somehow winning was just like it was super crazy.
I mean, that would be kind of like the equivalent of like Rebellion coming out and winning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were like in the top 6 and then come out up ahead of the big 3 at the time. So huge standout performance. Obviously, Boo Boo's still doing it. Shooter, I don't know much about Shooter. I don't know where he's gone to, but I keep seeing him on these lists with lots of really good players. So
I love that guy. I love that guy as a teammate too. I wish he was still competing, but I think he kind of went in like a direction of just not playing anymore and just doing his like, you know, IRL stuff. But he was always a great teammate. I think he could so easily be pro in this game.
let's move ahead a little bit here. So after the Splice roster, well, the Splice, you guys stay under the name Splice, but the name or the team changes a little bit. Looks like you guys pick up Eco, or sorry. Yeah, it changes to you, Shotzi, Eco, and Stellar instead of Boo Boo and Shooter. And then this team looks very dominant. I mean, first, second, first, all the way until winning the Halo World Championship. I mean, this looks like one of the strongest rosters you might have been on. As far as comparison to the other eras, what do you think was special about this team in particular?
I felt like we were a great mix of players. Like obviously we were all good players, but I feel like us together just like would gelled like perfectly. That's like probably my best way to describe it. Like we didn't have to overcomplicate the game. We just kind of got on and like we all did our 25%. And I felt like that was like a consistent thing every single time we played with each other. So that's probably the biggest thing with this one.
Cool. Well, I've actually got a clip here of the end of that tournament. This is grand finals. And you were actually popping off with the sniper. I watched this a little bit. And you weren't even like necessarily hitting a bunch of shots, but like just controlling space so easily for Eco. Like Eco doesn't even get looked at, I feel like, because they're also worried about trying to kill you with the sniper. And you're just like running away, escaping, being a hard kill. So this is a fun clip to watch. Let's take a look at it.
Shotzi just trying to get away, still milking time here. He's going to kind of put that up on the ledge, maybe even toss it front red. Snake might get some good help from Royal too. So
how much more difficult was it to land your shots in Halo 5 with such a constant presence of thrust?
It was a lot more difficult. I feel like at least getting the last shot, but the last one was really huge. Man, I missed this game. I have no idea.
Enjoyed this game a lot more than Infinite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because guess what? Splice had 3 dead, and somehow they end up with the ball after this exchange.
Yeah. I forgot you could thrust with the ball too, so like it makes such play ball so easy on maps like this.
I did love the perfect metal in Halo 5.
Yeah.
Here we go.
If it continues at this place, Splice will win this tournament. I mean, you have players on Tox who are pushing in just a little bit too aggressive, waiting for each other, trying to
Missed that, yeah.
off of the last few respawns. And Splice looking so
No
good.
body
That
shot.
shield coming up in about 40 seconds or so, but we might not even need it here if this keeps up. Yeah, of course, to 150 here.
Oh, wow.
This live was so sick. Like just thrust back. Like that guy has no chance to chase you now. Dude, they start just chasing you here.
Teammates are racking up ball time. You have to kill this sniper rifle player, and Renegade is just causing all sorts of problems at the moment. As
I wish they didn't switch off your screen right there.
Oh no, that was actually a finesse and a half.
Yeah, because like you're still alive. Like you didn't show up in the kill feed. You're still alive over there. Like what the? How?
Only 12 points to go before they win the event.
Yeah, it's now or never for Tox. They pick up a couple of kills, but Renegade.
But this is like you said, Eli. This is a great example of you don't even need to be hitting headshots. Just your presence with the snipe and staring down the sightlines and the scope and making the guys chase you. It's almost like they felt like you were holding the oddball here. That's what it looks like to me, at least. But you had the snipe instead. But it goes to show how much of a priority you were on the map. And a great bait, great distraction.
It's just like a presence thing, right? Like just they're so scared of Renegade with the sniper that they don't feel comfortable to kill the ball carrier until he's dead. Like they're going out of their way to fight him, and they end up losing the game because the ball guy's just running away. And granted, Eco is making some big brain rotations throughout, and he's probably watching John the whole time and choosing his routes based on where John is, right? So, I mean, you're right. It looks like it was effortless for this team. You guys just kind of made it happen, and you guys were hyper dominant during that time period. So definitely a fun one to look at for me. I personally wasn't around a whole lot during the Halo 5 era. I'm sure you probably didn't even know who I was until Halo Infinite was. So this was definitely just like,
You got the call out, man.
oh, that's true. You were using my name as a call out.
Who's this Eli bum? I don't know. He's on the Eli.
It's so funny that it was still used in Halo 5 because I like barely even played that game. But as long as there's a map that looks kind of like midship, they're gonna find a ledge to call the Eli, I guess. There's a lot of different history here. You're actually bouncing teams a little bit, mostly with the same Eco, Renegade, Stellar, Penguin. I mean, this is the team that you ended up with at the beginning of Infinite, which brings us to a good time to talk about it, right? Like you guys were looking very dominant. Look at the wins here off the start. You guys won the first 2 lands of Halo Infinite. And I feel like a lot of people want to ask you this because it was confusing to a lot of people. I think I understand the reasoning why, but like after you win 2 tournaments, the first time you get second place at Kansas City, then you leave to join FaZe. And I mean, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your intention was to be on the team that you're on now, but that didn't quite work out. And then you guys formed the other FaZe team. So talk me through how all that went down.
So, I mean, we have to backtrack a couple years because taking like, I guess, yeah, we won the 2 straight and then lost, but I've also been teaming with Econ Seller since end of 2017. So there's a lot more just like build up than just like, oh, you win one, oh, you lose one, and then you just want to leave. So obviously I always knew that team had the talent. Obviously we like proved it. We won 2 straight. And then I always felt like my issue with that team, which I think they have also fixed, is the fact that we would just stop trying. Like we would hit our peak and then we would just like don't care anymore. And I feel like I always like dislike that. I feel like the team that like the Tox Sentinels or whatever, that team, they never had that. It was always like they were consistently getting on every day, trying to get better. If they won or if they lost, like it didn't matter. And I feel like I just wanted to be in that environment. So that was just the biggest reason.
I think the best competitors are the ones that are able to stay hungry even when their belly's full, which you guys had the experience of plenty of times. You guys had plenty of success with, like you said, Eco and Stellar. Shotzi there at the 2018 World Championship, but it seemed like for you, even more so than skill set, you would argue, just the pure drive and desire to be the best was more important than anything to you, it sounds like.
Yeah, 100%. That was because it was not an easy decision to just like do that. Like I thought about that decision for a while. So, but yeah, I think all in all, I went with that decision. I mean, I guess hindsight could say this now, but like obviously that was the team I went for. But, you know, obviously things didn't work out like that way right away.
What is it about that confidence? Because everybody's going to say they're the best, but I get the sense in talking to you, not just now, but even previously after lands, that you really believe it. Where does that confidence stem from? And did it happen after you started to win the championships, or was it there even before then?
I guess my confidence stems from just performing this time and time again, and just seeing how like other people perform and how I know or how I hold myself to like a standard. So that's why I say I'm the best, is because I just believe that when I'm playing my best, I am.
Let's talk about Bound, because there's always been Renegade and Bound when you guys play in 2v2s together. You guys had a great run in Halo 5, and then now it's Renegade versus Bound. What's it like when you guys match up together? Because I know we get excited. Me and Eli are always hyping it up if we're casting it, but
Yeah.
what's it like for you guys who are on the sticks?
I love playing against Bound just because he's, and I don't mean this for other players or other players, but he's one of the few players I know like believes he's like better than me, you know, and I feel like it's vice versa where I believe I'm better than him, and I feel like that's always this like, I don't know, for me, I love that. Like I love playing someone who just like thinks they could just beat me like easily. It just like fills me up.
I did have this pulled up. This is actually the last tournament that you were with Cloud9, and then the grand finals, you guys got swept. This is when Sentinels actually beat you guys for the first time on LAN.
We gotta talk about Frosty. He's 17 and 8 in this game. Unreal numbers from him.
You missed the BR meta, or you like Bandit meta better?
My honest truth, I kind of miss the BR, but
Yeah.
I like the Bandit or the single shot, but I don't think it's the right gun in my opinion.
I think the time to kill is too fast.
Yeah, they need to nerf the fire rate and make it just a little bit slower so you can have more time to finesse.
So you feel like at this time, I mean, how long before this did you already know that you wanted to team with these guys? I mean, I guess you'd been playing against them in Halo 5 as well. You guys probably hung out and played together online.
A big part of it, I would say, is like they asked me after winning.
Really?
So it's just like that definitely put things in like perspective for me, where I was like, dang, these guys beat us, and then like they're still willing to do this. And obviously, you know, I won the past too, so it was kind of like in my head it was like a mutual thing. And I mean, my entire Halo career, pretty much, I've always been against these guys. You know, it's always been finals against these guys, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel like if I'm on that team, we could be better. So that was just the decision.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were confused by it. Like I said, I could kind of see it and understood. And you've said that before about the work ethic thing. You felt like these guys worked harder. And I've even quoted recently saying that I thought Snakebite was one of the hardest working like players in the game. I feel like every time the meta changes, he wants to scrim twice as much. He's trying to learn the ins and outs of new maps. He's trying to come up and just stay ahead of the curve. But Royal 2 as well. I mean, I've always been impressed with Royal 2 because he is like a fun, like outgoing person. But when you see him at a tournament, he's all business. Like I remember like standing out like in the stands talking to a couple of friends, and he knew us. So he walks up, starts talking to us, and one of the girls I'm with is like, yeah, we're going to this Airbnb party afterwards. And he's like, yeah, we're going back to the hotel to watch film. So like, it's like, I respect that, bro. It's like, he's not trying to go out and party. He's trying to like continually get better at the game. And I got a lot of respect for that. So
yeah, and that's definitely a driving motivation of like why I enjoy teaming with these guys is, you know, win, loss, you know, it doesn't matter if you win, doesn't matter if you lose, we're still like trying to get better. And I just love that mentality. Like I knew what they were missing because I've competed against them so long. So in my head, I was like, if I could bring what they're missing, like we should be pretty dominant. So that was kind of like my mentality going into it.
Now, there is a lot of delayed gratification with this decision you made. How long did you battle with it? Were there sleepless nights? You know, like I almost feel like this like montage in my head of like Renegade just staring up at the ceiling, wonder if he made the right decision. Because you didn't start winning right away. You didn't start teaming with these guys that you're with right away. How long did it take for you to think, okay, I made the right decision. I'm in the clear.
Yeah. So I guess after. Obviously, I'm not trying to roast like any of these players. I think they're all good players in their own rights, but obviously that's not the team I wanted to land on. So I kind of was like, whatever, I'm gonna make the best situation I can with what I'm given. But obviously, it's not the decision I went with. So it was definitely a little hard at first. But I think right when we finally got the team assembled, it was just like I feel like at that point I was just like it's gonna be worth it. Like there's no way I went through all of this and it's not gonna be worth it. Like I'm gonna do whatever it takes for us like to be successful. So it just honestly just made it sweeter, made the wins better.
After your lowest placing of the year, 4th place at Fort Worth, was that maybe like a wake up call for you guys to like start working the way that you had before? And then is that why we saw kind of like the strongest version of your team at the World Championship?
The first tournament, the Charlotte one, I thought we were super dominant, but I feel like we were just kind of like green. Or I feel like at least that tournament, Optic was just the better team. They just ran through situations time and time again, and that's why I personally feel like we lost that one. They're just a better team. And then after that, we got the ball rolling. We're going super hard, and we won 2 straight after that, which is like what I kind of expected to do with these guys. So, and I think from there, again, I think the next event, teams get better. If we're not grinding our hardest, every team's going to get better. Kind of fell short. And I think we saw like Salt Lake as a kind of a bump, like, dang, like, we need to keep going hard, but like we still got it. And I think after the Fort Worth loss, it was like, yo, like something's messed up. I think after that loss, it kind of took us back. Like, yo, we're doing something wrong. Like, we need to fix how we're playing or fix what's going on. And I think we did a pretty good job of that leading into Worlds. And luckily, we got the W.
No, you guys definitely did a good job of that. I remember looking at the scrim results. You guys would lose like 1 or 2 games in every single scrim. Like it was insane. I think somebody tallied it up, and you guys were like 96 and like 6 for win-loss in games and scrims leading up to Worlds. And then at Worlds, you guys do take a trip to the losers bracket, but then
who knocked them to losers? Do you remember, John?
Optic.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, my God, that makes it even sweeter.
I think it was a 3-0.
We won the first map, and then we lost. It was 3-1.
I wanted to take us back to the World Championship. This is during the finals, the first set. You guys just came off of a win in lower bracket, and then you face off a rematch against Optic in the grand finals. Now, Optic had previously beat you guys to knock you into losers bracket and start off 2-0 in the first set of grand finals. Now, what happens here? Because it seems like you guys almost like flipped a switch and just suddenly started rolling and never stopped. Like, was there a conversation that you guys had? Did you guys talk to each other and be like, we're not going out like this? Like, walk me through this moment.
Yeah, so I mean, we're down 0-2 in the grand finals. It's kind of like, we know it's a best of 7, so like we know we have time to like, just kind of catch your flow of the game, just kind of make sure you're playing good. But I mean, I guess we were saying like we're not going out like this insane stuff, but realistically, like we saw the game types, and I feel like the first 2 game types favored Optic like extremely well. So once we knew, we were hoping we would win them, but if we didn't, we didn't have our heads down. We were just kind of like, you know what, like we can keep getting better at this. So that
makes sense.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing, is just knowing like, the game tests we had in front of us, or like an Aqua Flag, I think we were really good on like all year. And then I think the next one is like a Live Fire Strongholds, which we made a really good improvement from forward to that event. So yeah, we were just very confident in the game tests leading forward, and I feel like as long as we are confident, like it doesn't matter what the score is, we can win.
Absolutely, yeah. You guys ended up rolling them pretty significantly, and then it ends with this. We'll just go ahead and play the closing moments of this game here. And this was your first World Championship in Halo Infinite, so let's play it out here.
As you said, there's just not time on Optic Gaming side. Trippy is the last player alive, and despite the fact that he's in the hill, his spawners will not be. Trippy should be neutralized here. Should be. Taken down now. 20 seconds left.
At this point, you guys know you won the game. You guys could play time if you wanted to.
Yeah, we're just playing kills here.
He will fall as well. And for the first time this season.
You can see the smile on your face right there.
I don't recall anyone ever resetting the bracket like that and then in reverse sweep fashion almost. I know it was the first time it ever happened in Halo Infinite, but I can't think back to any of the Halos where we saw that in the grand finals, world championship no less.
You guys won 8 straight, which is insane. Like,
In the context too, Optic had won 5 in a row against FaZe before that. So I mean, to outrun them, how do you win 8 games in a row against Optic?
I would just say again is I just think that's just how our team is. I feel like we're just kind of like once we get going, like it's hard to stop, and I think that is, you know, that's a pro and a con. Because if we don't get going, I mean, there's times like the last tournament would happen. But I think if we get going, it's just our first, like, hard to stop us.
no, that's exactly what I said. Remember, Hunter, when we were casting this? I said there's one thing about FaZe. When they start winning, they don't stop winning.
You said that exact quote. There had to be a moment, in my eyes, I would imagine, where you guys felt like, okay, like you guys start getting that nonverbal look in each other's eyes, and you guys all can feel it and know you're about to be the world champs.
Yeah, I would feel like I mean I'll speak for myself on this. Like I feel like I think there's like a Live Fire Strongholds game in like the first set of like series, and I don't know. I feel like I was just hitting my shots. Everything was going my way, and I was like, yo, if I can keep this up, like obviously, like I don't know, my teammates could have been thinking something, but like me personally, I just felt like I was hitting like flow that game, and I was like, yeah, like good luck if I can keep doing this.
I think you and Royal 2 looked really similar. Like I feel like when Royal 2 is playing his best and you're playing your best, you guys are just like almost unstoppable, right? Like when Royal 2 is playing his absolute best, I feel like he's one of the best shooters in the game. It doesn't even get talked about as much.
Yeah, no, Roll 2, since being on this team, like he's one of the few people who just like consistently like in scrims every day who like I would say perform like better or like than me. He's definitely like someone I was like I always knew that. Like even at Halo 5, like he was such a pillar for their success, in my opinion. And on our team he still is.
I remember casting, John, a lot of your matches online in the offseason leading into this this last season. After you guys formed this roster, everybody just assumed it was going to be, you know, a surefire thing. And I remember, I think it was against Rebellion, maybe even a pit CTF where you guys had a 28 kill disparity and still lost that pit CTF. How did you guys find your objective form and start to break away from just all slaying out and focusing more on the objectives?
So we did a way better job last year of this, and then I think this year is kind of still the same thing. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I would say like we all need to be bought into a system where like no one is like whoever's gonna perform is gonna perform on that game, but like we all need to be able to like do what has to be done on the map. So if it's your turn to, you know, pop off, it's your turn. But if it's not, then you need to be like super efficient with the OBJ. And I think we've struggled with that a lot. And honestly, that just takes practice, especially for us as people. Like we have to kind of, you know, do reps and scrims, and like you need, you know, go for the ball in scrims and kind of make that a habit. And yeah, you know, there's definitely times where like it's super good and we're super efficient, and then there's times we're not. So it's all about just trying to be better.
And then a lot of professional athletes that win multiple titles, a question they get commonly asked is which one was the sweetest? So I'm going to ask you the same thing. Which of the 2 world championships felt sweeter in your eyes, and why?
The second one for sure, just because of kind of like me leaving C9 to start off the year before, and then that year was, you know, it wasn't like we won 5 straight or anything. It was super, you know, we won 2, but we also lost like 3. So it's like it was a bumpy road. So we won that one through like a lot of adversity. And then on top of it, from losers bracket, which I'm not sure in the older Halos, but I don't think anyone has ever done that. So
That's what I thought it was history, not just for Infinite, but for all of Halo. Eli, I don't think anyone's ever reset the bracket in a grand final at Worlds or Nationals. I don't think
Nationals,
so.
maybe not. Yeah, Final Boss found their way there through winners. I think Believe the Hype also. Did they win in winners? Did they win the winners bracket that year? I feel like Believe the Hype could have been.
I believe so.
We'll have to double check that beforehand, but
yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, I don't know about like the older Halos, like Halo 2, but I think Halo 3 on. I don't think anyone just like came from losers. So I guess, if they have, they haven't, but it's a good feat for me.
So the way that I wrote this was like, in your eyes, how does the landscape of competitive Halo Infinite look to you right now? And what would it take for FaZe to get back to that dominance that we were used to seeing last year?
So this year for us with the Bandits, and I mean, a lot of people don't talk about this, but I feel like there's an actual huge meta change in the game as well. Not just the Bandit, like not just the gun itself, but the way people have been playing and the way like teams have been like displaying. I don't think are used to that, or just used to teams just putting so much pressure on us constantly. So that's been something for us that we're slowly improving on. But I mean, for us to be successful again, I think it just stems back from like the work ethic and the reason why I wanted to join this team in the first place. For situations like that, like if we're not the best team in the moment, or we have our ups and our downs, like at least we can grind through it as a team and find a way.
I get almost a deja vu from where we are at the start of this season and where y'all were last season, right? Trying to figure out the objective efficiency, trying to find the ice and break through. And granted, you guys aren't playing your best Halo in these, I would say, early goings in the season, but you're still getting top 3, top 4, right? You're in the mix for grand finals. So is that safe to say? And do you see parallels to where this FaZe roster was at the start of last season too?
Yeah, I definitely do. Just because I think we just like kind of went backwards and all of the stuff we did like leading into Worlds. I think we just like do it out the window after we won, honestly, and we're just kind of like trying to play like, I feel like we're just in the mix right now trying to play like everyone else and not like playing like ourselves. And I think that's like, once we get that down, I'm not going to say we're going to dominate every single tourney, but I think we'll be contending for a win every single tourney once we get down the efficiency and just playing like ourselves.
Yeah, to me, I mean, from our perspective, and I guess I'm asking your perspective as well. Like, it feels like there was the top 3 or like the big 3, whatever you want to call it, pretty much all of Halo Infinite. But now we've got like new people that are contesting. Like, I feel like the competitive landscape is way more competitive right now, and maybe it is partially because of Bandit meta, and people are playing faster and better and like figuring things out. But it almost feels like there's a big 6 now.
I wouldn't say there's a big 6, not yet. In my opinion, I still think there's the 3 teams that have won and can win. I feel like for me to like believe there's another team that could do that, they would have to like actually win a tournament. But I do agree in the sense of where they're super competitive now. Like I think the Sentinels, I think Sen has always been pretty competitive, but the Shopify roster is super competitive, and they have the tools to win, but obviously I feel like I would have to like see it before I would call them like a top, like they could beat us. They could beat our team SSG. I mean, they have, but I just have to see it on LAN and kind of like where the lights, are the brightest.
As old as time, Hunter. There's online kids and then there's tournament winners, right? So I mean, it's still to this day.
And that's a great point, Eli. And I think it translates great to this next question for John. What is it about you that allows you to play your best Halo when your back is against the wall? Is that sort of that mindset of the most dangerous animal is a wounded one?
I feel like I guess like to start that off, like I just start playing like myself, as weird as that sounds. Like I feel like backs against the wall, like people obviously like you have game plans, you have things you want to do with your team. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like what stems from the best players in the game right now that I see is like they don't just let like plays happen. They try to make the play, and they always try to one up their like opponents. So like game 5s and stuff, like I'm not really like thinking. I'm more just like trying to like find a way to win, like in the game, whatever that is. If I'm you getting sandbox or hiding or playing aggressive. Like, it doesn't really matter. I feel like I just like try my hardest to find a way to win.
In my eyes, one of the best players, if not the best player, when it comes to back against the wall. I can never count you out.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm trying, and hopefully this season will be better.
Yeah, cool. We'll go to the quick cues. And so these can be as short or as long as you want, but more meant to be rapid fire and have a little fun with some Halo questions. So starting off, this one is a little bit more long form, but fondest Halo memory. I assume it might just be that Halo World Championship recently, but I'll let you speak for yourself.
Like Halo competitive memory, or just like
All time. It could be when you first played Halo 2 and took your dad down on Ascension or something.
I mean, this might be a little recent because I can't think of anything, but like definitely the World Championship, the second one, because just I just feel like we put so much into that, and like getting the win, and when you just put so much into it, it's just like it's probably the best feeling I've had.
Favorite weapon throughout Halo?
The sniper.
Favorite of which game?
Halo 3, probably. I like the Halo 3 sniper.
Hell yeah. Favorite duo?
Probably Shotzer.
Favorite Halo?
Halo 5.
Favorite Halo map?
Truth, midship, whatever it is in
My
that game.
guy, let's go.
Hell yeah.
That's why he knew who I was. Perfect.
I love that mouse.
What's the most similar thing to Halo 5 in Halo Infinite? Like what about Halo Infinite might bring you back or draw you back to those H5 days?
I feel like when you have equipment, maybe like if it's a thrust or a repulsor, whatever equipment you have, kind of brings you back to Halo 5 for me.
If you had to pick a rival right now that's not on your team, who would it be? Would it be Bound or would it be somebody else?
I would have to, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Lucid, just for now, just because I've been playing Optic. Obviously, Bound's up there too, but I just think I've been playing Optic just so long, like in Infinite. It's always like me versus them.
You guys are usually the first two names in conversation when people ask like who's the best player. They say Renegade and Lucid. So yeah, it totally makes sense for you guys to be like rivals in that sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
As far as being the best, you've made it very clear that that's your goal. You want to be the very best to ever do it, not just in Halo Infinite, but of all time. Do you feel like an MVP is needed to accomplish that task?
No, not really. Just because it's like player voted. I mean, I don't know, like what the guidelines are. In my opinion, like I don't know. In my opinion, I should have had 2 already, but that's just me. But that's what
fair.
I'm like. That's what I'm like. I can't really. I don't know. Whatever the players think, that's what they think, and I can't really like stop that.
Well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure here today. Any final thoughts from you, and where can we find you on socials?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's actually pretty fun. My first ever podcast. I was a little kind of like weirded out by it, but honestly, you guys made it a good time. You guys can find me on my X at Renegade_JW or on Twitch at just Renegade. So
yeah, it was weird. He said on my X, and I'm looking for his dead body, and I just realized he's talking about Twitter. So there we go. You can find him on Twitter or now X, and we'll have all of his social links below. Guys, part of doing this podcast is to generate more of the stories and the history, past, present, and future of Halo. I think Renegade's got an incredible present. I still think he's got plenty of future to speak of as well. So please support the players who come on our shows because they absolutely deserve it. That'll do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Tide the Leader. You guys can find all of these episodes on myself and Eli the Ninja's YouTube channels, which will also be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one.